Hey, I want to say congratulations to those of you watching who just got your very first fishing kayak. I know you're excited. You're looking forward to rigging it all out. And I mean, that is the fun part about it, man. You know, customizing this kayak to fit your fishing style and needs. And one of the most important items you're going to need on your kayak is a good fish finder, at least if you're trying to catch any fish, all right? So for those of you who already have a kayak and already have a fish finder, I'm pretty sure you can find this video useful as well. I mean, here's the real situation. Over time, our fishing needs and desires change. So maybe the current fish finder you have, maybe it's something a little outdated. Maybe you want to get something current. Maybe you want to get something that's an upgrade from what you currently have. So I'm pretty sure you'll find this video useful as well. My name is Michael, the Shy City Yacker, and this is my independent review of the Raymarine Dragonfly 7 series of fish finders. So let's go ahead and start that now. So the way I want to do this review, in order to keep it from just being way too long, is to talk about the Dragonfly 7s together, where they are very similar, and then I'll point out where they differ so you kind of know that. But let's go ahead and get started, and we'll talk about the actual build of the product. You know, when I first got the first generation Dragonfly 7, I was a little underwhelmed at the build of it. It's kind of thick, but it's very lightweight, but it feels just very flimsy because a lot of this backing is just a thin plastic. And you can tell that a lot of the electronics and, you know, stuff, electronics of the unit is kind of in the front section here. So, you know, it has a weird feel to it, you know, because it always wants to fall on its face. You have to be careful with it. But I can tell you that I've dropped it a couple of times all last season, and it held up well. It never broke, never acted funny after dropping it. So despite the feeling of it, it has held up well. Compared to the new Dragonfly 7 Pros, which recently came out to the market, they're in line with their other Dragonfly series of fish finders, the 4, the 5, and the 6. This 7 really impressed me when I got it out the box because it's sturdy. It feels solid. They've kind of thinned it out. It seems like there's more electronics in here. It's well balanced within the unit. So unlike the original 7 where it always feels like it wants to fall out of your hand face first, this one just feels, in any way I turn it, it just feels balanced. It feels solid, sturdy. Another thing they did with the Dragonfly 7 is they flattened out the front panel, got rid of the joystick that's on the original first generation of fish finder, and they got these big pads. You're still able to get some traction on it. So if your hands are wet, or maybe some water falls onto your fish finder, you know, spilling over from the kayak, if you go to press the power button or you go to hit the OK button, you have confidence that you're still going to connect with it, and you're going to be able to have that friction in order to hit that button without your finger slipping off of it and whatnot. I think that's a pretty nice addition to the fish finder that they made on the 7, compared to the original that has a little joystick. Can be a little quirky to function when you're on your kayak and trying to reach over to get to it, because at the base of it, it's there's no traction on it. So if your fingers are wet, a lot of times my fingers would kind of slip over it, or it wouldn't catch the joystick enough to turn it to get it to function what I wanted it to do. Same thing with the buttons here. They're kind of small, and they have like this clear plastic feel to it. So again, if your fingers are wet or if water came over onto the fish finder over your kayak and you go to press a button, a lot of times I'd have a situation where I had to really make the effort to push in the button because you know, finger was slipping. There was not enough friction there to get it to function. So that was a cool change that they made to this. It kind of alleviates that issue. Now I reach over, wet or not, I can function it, hit it. They're big pads. You really can't miss, you know, whatever button you're trying to hit on this thing. So I really like how they changed that up. Now, one of the most important parts of the fish finder is the screen. It's what you're going to be looking at the entire time you're out in the water. I can tell you that for both the Dragonfly 7 and 7 Pro, the screen is excellent. In fact, the 7 Pro, I feel like, seems like it's a little bit sharper and crisper than the original, and the original is really good. That's one thing I really like about it. You know, super sharp imaging, clarity, and the bright sun. You crank up the brightness and you can still see your fish finder even with the sun beating down on it. Never had any issues, and that's one area that I feel like the Dragonfly 7 has stood out for me. Not only that, but it's simple to use. You know, that's one thing that I enjoy about the fish finder here is you have a lot of other fish finders out in the market that have a lot of bells and whistles, a lot of buttons and options. And, you know, at a certain point, you're out in the water, you start to lose yourself and lose time fishing when you start screwing around with the this option and that button and then this thing. And for me, I like to get out there. I want the fish finder to do what it's supposed to do, which is give me the temperature. Tell me how fast I'm going, show me the cover, show me the fish down there, show me the structure and whatnot. And I can go from there and make my decisions. And I think a lot of guys kind of lose themselves in all these options and all the buttons and the bells and whistles. I think this is a great solution for you to check out, at least to demo if you could, because it's just very simple to use. Get out there, power it on, a couple taps, and now you got your sonar up. A couple more taps, you've got the split screen with the the chart plotter and the down vision, whatever it may be. Really simple to use, great screen clarity, and for me that's really a strong selling point for it. Another thing about the fish finder here is that there's just one cord that goes back into here. Raymarine combined the power and the transducer cord into one, and so that makes it easier when you're routing the cable through your kayak and hooking it back up. You just put one cord in there, click it down to secure it in place, and it's not going anywhere. Other brands, you have two cords, one for the power, one for the transducer. Again, simplicity is one thing that, if anything, you should take away from the Dragonfly 7 by Raymarine, is that it's just simple and a lot of different aspects of it, and that's a great selling point. Now let's talk about mounting the Dragonfly 7 series of fish finders. Here's where they really differ. The original 7, and you can find some still out in the marketplace, they're not producing them anymore to my knowledge, so whatever's out in the market is going to be the last of it. But this is the original cradle that comes with the Dragonfly 7. Here I have it attached to the Yak Attack mounting base that they sell, and it fits perfectly. The Dragonfly 7 currently, sits on my Hobie Outback behind me. But with the new 7 Pro, Raymarine changed things up. And I made the mistake of ordering a second Yak Attack Dragonfly 7 mount, and as I learned, it will not work. So if you've got the 7 Pro and you're looking at the Yak Attack Raymarine Dragonfly 7 mount, don't buy it because it doesn't work. Here's the new base that Raymarine ships with the Dragonfly 7 Pro. If you look at here, the circumference of it, it's way bigger than the Yak Attack one, so it won't fit. So the workaround to that, what I found, is the little ball that goes in here, right, for this cradle, it actually goes into the back of the Dragonfly 7. I'll zoom in on this in a second. It's a 1-inch ball. I kind of put 2 and 2 together and realized that if you get the Yak Attack 1-inch, any one of their 1-inch mounts, you can just slip it right in here, as I've done. And this is the one that goes, I've connected it to a Hobie 1-inch ball and this sits on my PA-14. And now it sits on the H rail, and now I can move my fish finder any direction I want, and it works. Now, one important thing to know with the Raymarine Dragonfly 7 fish finder is that the transducer is pretty big. It's long and narrow, and it's very different from some of the other manufacturers' transducers and whatnot. So I can tell you that in the past, I've owned Jackson kayaks. Currently, I now have 2 Hobies, a PA-14 and the Outback behind me. I can tell you that the Raymarine Dragonfly 7 transducer, as long as it is, does work with both the Jackson and the Hobies. As a matter of fact, Jackson's kayaks, they make their transducer scuppers to fit the Raymarine, so you're good to go with that. With the Hobie stuff, you do need to make a modification to the scupper plate that holds these transducers on the Hobie. Just cut out those Lowrance holding brackets that are in the plate. Cut those out of there. Once you kind of get that out of there, you can just put the transducer, Raymarine's transducer down there, tie it up, and you're good to go. It actually fits and it secures it in there pretty nicely. So for those of you who are kind of on the fence looking at it, it does work. Transducers for the 7, original 7, is a little bit different than the 7 Pro. The original 7 transducer cable comes straight out the top. So when you go to put it inside the Hobie, it goes straight up through there. The new 7 Pro cord coming out of the transducer comes out the back end. And when I initially got it, I was a little worried. Didn't know if it was going to fit in there, if I was going to have to bend the cord back over to kind of go up the scupper hole, if it was going to work. But I can report back, thankfully, that it does work. So if you do get the 7 Pro or any one of the other 4, the 5, or the 6 pros out there, those transducers will work in the Hobie stuff. So here's another cool difference between the Dragonfly 7 Pro and the first generation Dragonfly 7 is that the new 7 Pro has built-in Wi-Fi on the fish finder unit. Now, it's pretty cool for this reason, man. I was out, I had my Dragonfly 7 Pro, my PA, brought out the Outback. My buddy was using it, but I forgot the original 7 for that kayak. What was great was he was able to get on his phone, connect to the Wi-Fi on my fish finder, and he was able to see my fish finder on his phone, and his kayak was just a few, feet away from me. So he was able to kind of have a sense of, where we're fishing, kind of what's around us. He was able to see everything I was able to see, which was pretty cool. So, you kind of almost get like 2 screens or multiple screens from one fish finder. So, if you're in that situation where you have, an extra kayak, someone wants to come fish with you, they can kind of have the ability to see what's going on under the water like you have. And be able to kind of catch fish and play off of that. Other cool things about it that you can do with the YFish app is that you can have sonar on the fish finder unit and then downscan on your tablet or your mobile device. You can also scroll back through the sonar. Unlike the screen, once you kind of once the transducer passes over that area you're in, it's gone. You can't pull up that structure or whatever, whatever's underneath you back again, unless you circle back around and go back over that exact same spot. With the YFish app, it kind of records your whole track, so you can scroll back through the sonar and see, that hump that you might have passed over and whatnot, and kind of further investigate that area if you wanted to. So it's just cool features that extends the functionality of the unit to just beyond being this stationary device that sits right there that you just kind of glance at. You can actually get more kind of in depth with it through the Wi-Fi functionality that's built in to the unit itself, using your tablet or mobile device. And it's a free download as well, so that's pretty cool. So let's talk about price point, because I'm sure this is going to be a time where I'm going to lose a lot of you, man. The Dragonfly 7s are at the higher end of their line of Dragonflies. Of course, you got the 4s and the 5s and the 6s all, start at a lower price point and work their way up, obviously. But what I can tell you is you're looking at, somewhere in the $600 to $700 range price point for the 7s. What you can do, what I suggest you do if you're interested in one, is going online, using Google. You'll find some online dealers that have them at a very good price. You can get some rebates and some sales and whatnot. So, I was able to find my 7 Pro at a discounted price, paid somewhere in the $500 range, which is practically a steal. So I lucked out there. So you just got to do some time and effort to research. If you're interested, you'll find some deals online from online retailers as well. They do ship with charts. You have options out there. You have the Navionics, you have the Jepson C-Map, you have the Lighthouse, and of course you can buy a Dragonfly 7 without any charts. If you already have one, you don't need to buy another one unless you want to. What I do want to point out with the chart situation is my experience with that. The original 7 that I purchased, it came with the Jepson C-Map. Horrible experience with that. The entire time I've had the 7, I haven't been able to update my chart at all, because as I learned after getting it is that Jepson doesn't support Apple computers in order to download their Maps program, which does all the updating to their charts. So it's just been one hassle. And after a few months, I just, after contacting them and not receiving any support, I just gave up. So I would stay away from the Jepson stuff if you don't have a Windows PC. I got the 7 Pro now, and it came with the Navionics card. Happy to report it works with Apple stuff. Good to go. As a matter of fact, I'm really enjoying the Navionics stuff too. So I'm really happy I picked that up. All right, so there it is, my review comparison of the Raymarine Dragonfly 7 first generation against the all-new 7 Pro, which you got to check out. I really enjoy it, man. Look, if you're an Apple guy, iPhone guy, this is kind of like the iPhone of fish finders. I've said it before, I'm gonna say it again. So if you have an iPhone, you're probably gonna want this one. This is for the fisherman who likes things simple, you like high quality, screen is incredible, the detail's incredible, very simple to use, and you'll enjoy it. So check it out. Feel free to leave your comments below, any questions, thoughts, any personal experiences with any Raymarine Dragonflies you have. Leave it below, man. I'll reach back out to you. I appreciate you for watching, and I'll see you next video.